Hi, it's me, Jody Hand, Mrs. Hand Painted, and today's video is one of a series of 8 paintings that you can do, some mini landscapes. I'm going to show you how to do each one of these in one of the 8 videos that I'm sharing with you. All of the videos are separate, so this video will only show one of the paintings. I'll be doing painting number 8. You can do this on one 9x12 sheet of paper. I have this set up to do 8 different paintings that are all 2.5 inches by 3.75 inches. So you can also do them on these small little pads from Legion Paper Stonehenge. You can get these from lots of different retailers, but I purchased mine from Jerry's Artorama, and they have them in their buy it, try it deals if they're in stock. I'll put a link for that in my description as well so that you can look those up. But these are the exact size of all of the rectangles on my paper, and you can fit 8 on one 9x12 sheet of paper. Make sure you check out the other 7 videos so that you can do all 8 landscapes on your paper.
All right, this is the last of the 8. I'm going to take my largest round brush again, and I'm going to wet my paper. And this one is going to be a little landscape with a little pond, some trees, a little grassy area. All right, I am taking a brighter light blue, kind of like a cobalt blue or cerulean color. I'm putting in my sky and where my little pond is going to be. And it's just kind of, what would be the shape? Kind of like 2 ovals stacked on top of each other. It's going to be, if you want to look back at the reference photo in the beginning I have on the title screen, you can see what that's going to look like. I'm just doing my background washes right now, and then we'll be doing several layers on the top. I'm going to put my horizon line in, which I'm using some sap green, and then this is a little hill area that's going to jut out into that water, and there's the foreground, a little grassy area. And then along this side over here will be more of a beachy area, so I'm going to take more brown colors for that. So I'm just trying to control some of that bleeding I've got going and adding another layer of blue. And I'm going to blot up just a little bit, just do a little bit of clouds with my paper towel, just picking up some of that pigment, just so I have some faint clouds in the background and just trying to stop some of that bleeding. I had just a little bit too much water on my paper, so it was going everywhere. And I put some water, more blue back in. And I believe I am using a cobalt blue here, actually. Blot up a little bit more of that blue for some clouds, and I'm going to dry this. I know everything is really fuzzy, but this is just the background wash. And my apologies for this being a little bit slanted. My camera was getting a bit off center there for that last video. All right, I switched to a smaller round brush. I've got round size 6, and I'm just going to do some very loose bushes, trees that are in the far background. So I'm just dabbing my brush, and then I'm going to define my hill here too. So I'm going to show like the back of the hillside there, and those trees, bushes are way off in the distance on the back side of the lake or the pond. So I'm going to do another layer. This is like more of an undersea green, or you could use sap green mixed with a little bit of brown would be good too. Just a darker, less bright color. So I'm just having that come off into my water. And then I'm going to add some more green and some brown here along the bottom. And then you can do a little bit of green down into your pond. Maybe there's some weeds or a little reflection of some bushes there. I'm taking some brown. I think I'm using like a brown oxide, or you could use burnt umber would be good for that too, just to do a darker area there on the back side of the pond. And this is really helping to define the edges of my pond now when I'm going around. I'm just going to blend in some of that brown here in the foreground as well. And then I'm taking, this was a little bit of actually some burnt sienna light with some yellow ochre. And I'm just adding in a beach, and that's really going to define the other side of my water edge. So that's just kind of like a beachy area there. I'm going to dry this now so that I can add layers on top. All right, continuing with that, that round brush, I'm going to add some more tree foliage, the bushes that are in the background, just along that hilly edge, and then at the back of the beach area on that back, that far side where that other sandy area is. Maybe there's like a little ridge line there along a fence or something. So I'm just adding in some darker green, just mix some brown, maybe a little bit of neutral tint in with some of my green just to darken that up. And just using the tip of my brush to just dab that in very loosely, and then just kind of defining the edge of my bank here. By adding different layers, that adds dimension, and you can see depth in your painting, and it's not so one-dimensional and flat. So by adding all these layers and doing that, it just gives the illusion of how far away things are. So I'm taking some brown oxide here mixed with, I think I had some sepia in there to do some tree trunks. And I'm just adding in a few large branches coming off of that. And I'm going to do 3 trees here, going further back on the hillside there. Like I said in some of my previous videos, when I'm adding trees in or things, I tend to try to do odd numbers. I feel like it's more pleasing to the eye than having even numbers. So that's why I'm doing 3 trees as opposed to a different number. So I'm just very faintly putting in where some branches would be, because then I'm going to go over the top of that with the green foliage. So this other tree is just barely behind the other one, and I'm starting the trunk slightly higher in the painting so that it will show that that tree is further away. And then I'm just going to blend a little bit of more green along the base of those just to create some shadow areas. Just adding another layer of some of my dark green, that undersea green. And then I'm taking my round brush and I'm going to just dab that with some different shades of green. Just whatever greens you have, just try to vary it up, or you could mix yellows, blues, browns in there just to give some different colors. So I'll start with one color and then I'll add some layers, and then make sure you're also leaving a little bit of areas uncovered too, so that you can see the light through them, see little glimpses of your sky from the background. So I'm just leaving a few areas untouched with paint, just so that it's showing more dimension in the tree. But like I said, this is a very loose style. They're very small. We don't want to get too highly detailed. So really just dabbing your brush down. We're not showing individual leaves. We're just giving the imagery of a tree. And I'm taking different greens. I'm using some brighter in there. I'm using a little bit of hooker's green, my undersea green, sap green. You can mix in some yellow ochre, some different colors of yellow that you have, just to give some different shades of green. All right, I'm switching now to my dagger brush that I've used in all of these tutorials pretty much so far. I really like this brush. I'm going to add some grasses here just on the 2 bottom corners of my painting, just to kind of frame this out and finish it, using that in a sweeping motion going up with very light pressure, and I'm varying the direction of my grass blades. And then on those on the left, I just added And just adding a teeny bit of like the little seed parts, and then I'll add some teeny little bits of grass that are around the base of that tree. And then I'll turn my brush on the side. I'm just going to add a few little dashes across the bottom just to give that a little more texture. Just the illusion of some depth in the grasses there. And I can take a little brown in here and just add in a few other little branches if I wanted. I really enjoyed painting these little mini landscapes. It was fun coming up with different ideas and putting them all on one sheet of paper. If you want to see more tutorials like this, please subscribe to my channel. Hopefully I'll be doing some more painting series in the future. You can also follow me on Instagram, Mrs. Hand Painted, so you don't miss a single one of my paintings.